This has been a long hike.
Oh, I gotta be honest, I'm ready for it to be over.
Dang, man, I'm out of trail mix too.
Like, now what?
There's a Chili's back there.
Well, crap.
There was no one at this Chili's, but that didn't matter. That actually made it more glorious to me.
For an appetizer, we like the Skillet Queso.
You might be thinking, Jacob and Lucas, I've had the Skillet Queso. Why is it one of the worst items from Chili's? Well, today, I'm going to inform you. Chili's markets their queso in such a way that it seems homemade, as though each serving is made fresh right in the skillet it's served in. It's delivered to the restaurant in a bag.
Wait, what? Tell me more.
The cooks would just heat it up and dump it in a skillet. A Reddit user confirmed this, stating the queso came in giant bags. To be completely honest, I kind of already assumed everything from Chili's was in a bag, but I guess this is like for sure from a bag, so it's like worse because like we know it's from a bag.
I just think it's funny because like, would it be better if it came in a box? Is it better if it comes in a tub? Like it just, I feel like the bag really throws people off. Remember back when Panera Bread went viral for having their macaroni in plastic bags?
Yeah.
But like you said, I'm not that surprised because it's Chili's, you know?
When the Skillet Queso came to our table, my mind was in a state of delusion because I saw so many posts on the internet about people hating on this, saying, oh my gosh, it just is from a bag, that's so gross. Then my own emotions overrode those emotions because I just felt so blissful because it looked so good and it reminded me of football games.
This is something that if you wanted to impress a football party with, you'd show up with a big steaming crock pot of this. Immediately set it on the kitchen island and plug it in, heat it up, and everyone would be dipping in.
I honestly think the bag adds flavor.
I love how it's in that little rustic black bowl, which even though it was from a bag, I like how they do a little cosplay pretending like it was made in this little bowl, you know?
Because when you see it in a skillet, it is funny because you actually do think like, oh, they skilleted it up. I don't know if that's a word, but like, and then you just realize it's from a bag, but you know. It was very tasty, but it didn't really remind me of queso. It more just reminded me of beef dip.
Yeah, I loved it in the moment, but looking back at the footage, like it's not very photogenic, you know?
Yeah, it does just look like
brown sludge.
you went to a porta potty and grabbed everything out. Then we ran into a problem because there ended up being too many chips. Chip to dip ratio wasn't ratioing.
So it just caused a lot of drama.
I would actually say that this Chili's Skillet Queso isn't one of the worst menu items.
This is good. Like I actually would physically fight the people on Reddit to like prove my point. Wait, you smell really good.
Thank you, Sunboard, for sponsoring this video. I don't have a signature fragrance. Luckily, with Sunboard, I can try out a bunch and see which one I like the best. Sunboard is great because they'll give you a 30-day supply of a fragrance, so you can try it out before committing to the full-sized bottle. I got the Sisley Paris Revee. It has scents of cardamom, iris, jasmine. When I smell it, I think of a grass field and me having a picnic. Then I got the Vide Moon Chris Collins cologne. This one has Turkish rose thyme. I could definitely see myself loving this one. It's super easy to use. You can lock it and then you unlock it and then boom. I also got the Mind Games Blockade. This one has mango skin and some lavender. Ooh, this one's fruity. Click the link below or scan the QR code and use my code JACOB55 for 55% off your first month of Sunboard. That's only $8 for your first month. Beep. For the first entree, we got the Bacon Rancho Burger. Actually, it's quite infamous because there's a eat this, not that article. The #1 order to never make at Chili's, and the #1 order is the Bacon Rancho Burger.
It's one of the highest calorie foods with the highest fat content out of all of the entrees. Specifically, 123 grams of fat, which is way above the recommended amount you should have in a day. The fat content in this burger is no laughing matter.
But it's
so
funny to me.
serious. Wait, so we were really diving in deep with this first entree.
It has 50 grams of saturated fat and 5 grams of trans fats, which are both linked to, I'm just laughing because this is actually so bad, linked to increased risk of heart attack and strokes.
Yeah, right. I'm just kidding.
Basically everything that's on this burger is like bad for you.
God, well, with those stats behind it, it better please our tongues like no other.
If you are gonna eat something that potentially raises your risk of heart attacks and strokes, you better be happy eating
I
it.
know.
It better taste so good. You better have dreams about it. Also, let's keep in mind that while I was browsing the internet, there was a lot of people saying that Chili's overcooks their burgers. So I opened my mouth wide and took a bite. And immediately, I knew what I was feeling. The burger was good. But I don't like how it's double stacked because each burger is so thick so you can like barely wrap your mouth around it. It's called the Bacon Rancho burger. Does that mean there's ranch in it?
I would think.
But I couldn't taste any ranch. With the whole overcooked drama, I just thought it tasted like well done. So I can't really subscribe to that drama. Let's hear Lucas's review, but as you can tell, mine is kind of negative already.
Yeah, right away, it hurt my mouth to open up that big. I had to give my jaw massages in between bites. But the actual taste, I gotta say I loved. Like, I love this type of burger. It reminded me of like a diner burger, where like it's just so greasy and cheesy. The bacon adds. Like Jacob said, I didn't taste any ranch. I also don't like how it was double stacked. If it was one patty, I would have been in love, bouncing around. Like twerking and everything, but 2 burgers I can't get behind. I'm just not a 2-patty boy unless they're really thin. I don't want to have to stretch my mouth whenever I eat it, you know?
I actually feel bad saying this because I want to root for Chili's, but I actually kind of agree, like, this is one of the worst menu items, because why is it double, and it just is, like, too ridiculous for me.
I feel like I would put it more in the medium territory. I don't think it's the worst, it's not the best, it's just the little happy medium. Because I actually enjoyed the taste. And the annoyance of how tall it wasn't enough for me to put it in the bottom worst. So this one passed for me. It passed the Lucas test.
Jacob and Lucas, you got the burger, but you got no sides. That's interesting. Well, that's because I wanted to get half a rack of baby back ribs for my side.
Which apparently was the little hack you could do, according to this 2009 article.
Chili's lets its customers add a half rack of ribs to their entree for about $7 more. Tacking this extra on will add 490 calories and 12 grams of saturated fat, plus an extra 2,050 milligrams of sodium to your meal. Since when did people start adding an entree to their entree?
I love how outraged they were saying, wait, we're adding entrees to entrees? It's like, unfortunately, that's where we're heading as society. Like, get used to it, you know? Chili's might have really got bullied by this article because they don't even effing do that anymore.
Yeah, so I got the burger and then I said, instead of fries as a side, can I get a half rack of ribs? And the waitress was like, heck yeah. But then she crawled her way back 5 minutes later with some bad news. She said, so unfortunately you can't get half a rack of ribs as a side.
I know, I love how she was pretending it was normal when we asked for it.
I know.
But then she was like, okay, what is going on? And she asked people and they were like, yeah, we aren't doing that.
Fries and coleslaw with the half rack of ribs, and I was like, okay, that will do, I guess.
So basically it was the side for the burger, but it actually was its own entree with its own sides.
Yeah.
Which I kind of was happy about. I was excited to try the coleslaw and stuff.
They have almost your daily amount of sodium in them.
It does suck being a restaurant though, because like you can't really win. You don't add the sodium, people will say it's bland. Then you add the sodium and then they complain that they have all these diseases from it. So it's like, where do you know what I mean? I feel like Chili's is like, we're going with the taste.
And I feel like that's the better option because if it tastes good, people are gonna go. Even if like they do know in the back of your mind, like I could get a heart attack, but like sometimes the pros outweigh the benefits.
Yeah, because like you're gonna go to Chili's.
The pros outweigh the cons.
You go to Chili's like twice a year, you know? You'll be fine.
Yeah.
It all cancels that out.
I poured some ketchup on the plate, dipped a fry in it, and it was tasty. I tried the coleslaw. It was tasty. Nothing special though. And then I dug into the ribs like a wild animal that hasn't eaten in 5 days and was ready to eat anything. They were tasty. I was expecting them to be dry, maybe have some dust on them or something. But these tasted so good that I would say like the sodium's worth it.
These are my favorite type of fries. I just love how they're so thick. And like they aren't too crunchy, but they're not too soggy. Like I just love those thick little potato fries dipped in ketchup. Jacob's right, the coleslaw was just basic. You know, nothing cool. The ribs fell off the bone. It just was the softest, most tender, juicy meat. I don't know what happens when you have a bone in your hands, but my primal instincts kicked in. And I started gnawing away like a Neanderthal. I was out in the woods, living in a cave, like eating the feast that I killed that day. Like it really brought me back to that moment, you know?
I think we can both agree that this isn't one of the worst menu items.
Oh, no, these ribs are good.
Honestly, if Chili's still did have it as a side, I would praise them because that's iconic in my opinion.
But even in 2009, they would have made you pay an extra $7. So nowadays, you know, it'd be like extra 25 or something.
Yeah.
So that's probably why they stopped it. The next entree we got was the Sizzling Shrimp fajitas. They came out with the smoke billowing up on them. We didn't get it on camera, so we apologize. I love ordering fajitas because you get a little facial moment. Because isn't it good to put steam on your face for your pores or something? So I just put my face over that grease pan and let my pores soak it all up. So there was a Reddit post where an undercover chef from Chili's did a little Ask Me Anything. And somebody said, if there is anything you don't recommend to eat, what is it? I do not recommend the seafood. You're at a chain restaurant and one that sells themselves as a Tex-Mex grill. Are you really expecting decent seafood in this situation? The chef just was really persuading people not to get the seafood. So that's why we got it.
While I was on Reddit, I also saw someone say, but I couldn't find it, so I don't have any receipts to back it up. But someone said that if you are gonna order seafood from Chili's, you should order on Sunday or Tuesday because those are the days the seafood comes in, which I don't even know if that's true because like shrimp is probably just frozen in the freezer.
This is seafood that was caught a decade ago.
That's
it's been frozen since.
That's what I was thinking.
There weren't really that many options for seafood on the menu.
Yeah, maybe over the years they've dwindled it down.
So I was kind of confused because I thought we were supposed to get tortillas with it and also there was these sides of guac and stuff. So I started to get together a bite with it all, but then I realized, okay, obviously this is supposed to come with tortillas. I'm gonna have to take a deep breath, go to the restroom, look at myself in the mirror, say 12 affirmations, 3 rounds of it back to back in a row, and then look the waitress in the eye and ask for the tortillas. And she literally was just like, oh my God, silly me. And she brought them literally in 30 seconds. And it was good. I added all the fixins, the beans, the pico de gallo, the sour cream, the guac. Yum, yum, yum. Shrimp in my stomach.
Whenever I go to a Mexican restaurant, I usually get chicken fajitas, so I was very happy. I added everything in. I do have to say, I was happy with the shrimp sizzling fajitas. And then I went in for a second. You did too.
I actually was just thinking I wouldn't have because I remember thinking like, they're good, but like for me, I might actually put this in the worst category. I don't know, like it's not that seafood's gross from Chili's, it's just like, there's so many better things to get at Chili's that this would be in the worst for me, you know what I mean?
You were kind of hating, weren't you kind of saying like, I need to eat something else because like the shrimp is so gross in my mouth?
Oh yeah, I had to take another bite of the heart attack burger. It just tasted like shrimp, but I just didn't want shrimp taste in my mouth anymore.
For me, I would actually go against you with the worst, because I would actually say it doesn't deserve to be one of the worst items.
Would you ever get this again going to Chili's?
Yeah, I liked it.
Well, at least that pleased the one of us.
My favorite was the shrimp fajitas, then the baby back ribs, then the burger is in last place.
My favorite was the ribs. Second was the heart attack bacon burger, and last was shrimp. I want those ribs right now.
I have them?
I think it's time for dessert.
Alright. Oh.
Can you get the chocolate lava cake?
Yeah, we'll share it.
Reddit user and former Chili's employee revealed that Chili's prepares this famous dessert by giving it a few minutes in the microwave before it's served. And this article goes into how, like, if you actually made a lava cake, it would take hours in the kitchen and it would be a lot of attention to detail, but Chili's just puts it in the microwave.
Which I'm kind of surprised by because when it comes to the table, it looks so aesthetic.
A lot of people online rave about this dessert and say like it's the best dessert a chain restaurant has to offer. Guys, just look at the presentation. That's beautiful. Like, you could say they put no effort in, but they put an ice cream scoop that is perfectly like a scoop. Like if you look at it, it literally looks like Mozart painted it. I mean, I guess he's a singer, but he's a composer actually. But okay, nonetheless. Then they put like that chocolate shell on top. It just, these chilies cooks, they still put effort in. You have to give them that.
Yeah, it's still art. Slam, dunk, dunk, dunk in my mouth. This is at the top of the mountain with the other classic chain desserts. Something about ice cream and a cookie or a cake or a brownie just every time gets it going.
Just from the presentation, I was like, I know I'm gonna love it, but then I tried it and it was just so good. A chocolate lava cake is like already so good, and then you add ice cream on top. I can 100% see why people rave about this because it was also so moist.
Well, however they came up with this little contraption and it's still microwaved and it's good, like they created something that's beautiful.
In my humble opinion, this doesn't deserve to be one of the worst desserts ever or whatever, because it just is so tasty. And Lucas already kind of said this, but I think it's talented that whoever made this discovered that you can make something this glorious in a microwave. In my opinion, that's like impressive. They should win an award.
One of the great discoveries. Yeah, this is one of the best items. Let's just be honest, Mash.com.
There was a lot of emotion in the air because me and Lucas had just tried apparently some of the worst items at Chili's, but we were still happy. It felt like one of those moments that happens in like once in a lifetime because there's just like two sides fighting against each other, but the happiness outruled the unhappiness.
Yeah, either that or we just have low standards.
Bye bye, Chili's.